let's take a second actually right here, okay? Guys, to explore the world of new traits in this fucking video game. Oops, that's wrong. Talent calculator. Artifact calculator. PTR warrior. Let's take a look at this, right? So this is what they look like right now. Damage 10%, stamina 10%. So people say it's actually 15% and 10%, which I'm hoping. But then you have this, right? Increases the damage of Bladestorm by 5%. Ravager, I should do like this real quick. Ravager damage if you're spec'd into it. Which already is incredibly good. Because you're looking at the fact that it synergizes well with their tier set. Right? Because it's all based around Bladestorm. Then the spending rage is a 0.50% chance per rage spent to heal you for 1,000% of attack power. Let's ignore tuning for a second because I could change that any second. But that's already pretty good self-healing in addition to any survivability they already have. Then there's this fucking thing. This is so broken. Execute causes the target to take 50% more damage from your next mortal strike, stacking up to 2 times. Imagine 3 focus rage stacks, okay, with this buff, and then mortal strike, boom, fucking, like, I don't know, a 3 million hit or some dumb shit like that, right off the bat. Don't come here and fucking tell me. Thank you, Radnor SW, for the auto host, and welcome to the viewers. I hope you're having a good morning/night. But don't fucking come here and tell me that this is not an absolute retarded amount of fucking damage. This is almost like, this is going to make their Mortal Strike like a fucking Draught of Souls on its own, like right off the bat, boom. That's probably an exaggeration, but you get the point, right? It's fucking retarded. And that's why I'm worried that Arms is going to be better. Fury. So, Raging Blow, crit strikes, generate an additional 1 rage. Again, let's ignore the number real quick. It makes Raging Blow crits generate extra rage. How much extra rage do you really need, right? Because we already get to 100 really fast. I don't think it's as great as it sounds. Of course, I could be wrong, because I haven't done testing. I'm going by guesstimates, basically. But it just doesn't sound all that rewarding. Plus, we don't stack crit. And we're losing Convergence of Fates going into Tomb of Sargeras and shit like that. So you don't get that extra CDR on Battlecry. So you don't have 100% crit as much. Then, Bloodthirst has a 10% chance to trigger a second Bloodthirst. This is what I'm really interested in. Why is this guy saying, except, shut the fuck up. This is what I'm really interested in for Fury. Because it's really good if it procs. But it's also really underwhelming if it doesn't. Now, let's be real here. This trait is better than this trait. This trait. Because it's DPS versus self-healing. But this trait, the OP one from Arms that we're talking about, is so much better than this one. This one makes sure every other Odin's Fury do fire damage, which it already does, and generate 20 rage, and every other one instead heals you for 100% of the damage it deals, and it will do shadow damage. So your big trait for Fury is an underwhelming DPS increase from the rage gained, which doesn't matter because Reckless Abandon already provides you with 100 rage right off the bat whenever you press Battlecry. So we generally don't really care that much about extra rage regen. But then the other one is self-healing. When fucking Arms gets the hardest hitting Mortal Strike in the history of this motherfucking game. Like, are you serious? That's the trade-off? This is why I'm worried that Arms is going to be flat out better. So yeah. And with that in mind, like, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think Fury is going to be bad, but that arm straight is just fucking dumb. Like, it's gonna be like you'll run around open world and one-shot shit. Like, honest to God, if you get one execute off, you'll just one-shot whatever. Like, your Mortal Strike will hit fucking way harder than your execute. You get what I mean? Like, with the buff, obviously. It's just, I don't get it, man. I don't get, like, what? It's just, it's one of those things, man. Like, I don't get their thought process. Like, unless they are doing, so my theory, my legitimate theory is that they want to try to force, or I guess in their words, give incentive to make warriors roll arms in Tomb of Sargeras and then back to Fury in 7.3 as to, shall we say, consistently rotate between the two specs. And I don't mind it so much. I just like them to be very equal. Right now, in Nighthold, if you take away from the fact that most of the fights are AoE, the two specs are actually very close to being equal, which I think is really good. So, yeah. Get what I mean? I don't know. I just fucking like it if they would maybe explain themselves, perhaps. Like, do they want one spec to just flat out destroy the other? Because if that's the case, you know, to me, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem like a good design choice. You get what I mean? You'd think they would want them to be fairly equal, because you'd think they would want specs to actually mostly come down to freedom of choice, actually. Unless you're literally min-maxing, you know, the 5% DPS difference on high end. Which would still mean I would have to play arms. But at least then casual players wouldn't suffer so much. It's like the trait difference makes me worry mostly that it'll be another one of those situations where, for instance, if you play Fury, people are going to make fun of you even on a casual level. They're not going to want to play with you. Just like fucking Warlocks at the start of the expansion, because people thought they were absolute dog shit. And people weigh in way too much on the opinion or the approach of the top players. I mean, do you guys get what I mean? And if yes, do you agree or disagree with me?